sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, but again, away feels like it's been.
Welcome back to another episode of The Social Beaches. I'm Kelly Bowling.
I'm Carolyn Smith.
And we sell real estate on the Space Coast. That's Brevard County and also down into Indian River County. So if you have any questions regarding buying or selling any real estate, we would love to answer those questions for you. You can call us or text us at 321-422-2160. You can send us a message or DM us on the platform you're watching, or you can email us at hello@coastalestateteam.com.
Correct.
So today we are going to talk about something that we've been
breaking
avoiding.
Down.
We've really avoided talking about this, but we're down to the wire here. Today is August the 8th.
Yes.
Here we have exactly 1 week until this National Association of Realtors settlement agreement is being put into practice here at our board.
In Space Coast, yes. Indian River is actually in effect is
started
6th.
This week on the 6th.
On the 6th. So Indian River.
And some were on the 1st, all across Florida and the United States, other MLSs.
And the deadline's the 17th.
Yes, 17th of August. So we are preparing for that. We have been preparing for a long time.
Months and months.
What does this mean for home buyers and home sellers? What is the settlement? The settlement basically says that we're not allowed to advertise compensation of any kind, whether it's a commission percentage, a commission dollar amount, a bonus amount, cannot be advertised in the MLS,
or any MLS fed site.
Such as, we use showing time here for showing instructions, that you click a button in showing time, on the MLS, it takes you to showing time, can't be advertised anywhere where you would link from the MLS over.
Yes.
We do have ways to advertise our own listings, or a broker to advertise their own listings. That is allowed. There's been lots of conversations with brokerages and their legal departments and everybody trying to figure things out.
And we've had lots and lots of trainings. And I think for me, and I mentioned this to you this morning, for me, the biggest thing for consumers to know is realtors did not ask for this.
No.
I feel like there's a perception out there that
we didn't want you to know.
We didn't want you to know, or we're trying to now hide something else, or we're trying to lock you into a buyer agreement. This settlement is a result of lawsuits by consumers against the National Association of Realtors.
And multiple brokerages.
Yes.
Large brokerages.
And multiple brokerages. And it's a settlement that was brought about by that. And we are required.
Yes.
As realtors, we are required to follow the terms of this settlement.
Yes.
It's not an optional thing. We can't opt out. You can't opt out.
If you opt out, you don't get to be a part of our MLS, which means you don't have access to those listings.
Yes.
So we have to comply. And there are steep fines if we are found to be not in compliance with that. They've been sending out tons of education at our local board. Our broker has been amazing about providing trainings and guidance on how to be prepared for this. And honestly, in Florida, you've never been required to have a buyer-broker agreement signed with a consumer.
No.
In order to show them properties, help them buy a home. It's not something that we're required to do here previously to the settlement. Other states have
I think it was 14 states. I believe it was 14 states had a required buyer-broker agreement.
Yes. Now, whether it was required before they could take somebody into a house, I don't think so.
We don't know the exact terms of how they did their, and each state may have been different, but now everyone is sort of.
Yes. Yeah. So what does this mean? That means, if you call me on the phone, or you call Carolyn on the phone, and you're like, hi, I'm moving to the area, and I want to, come to town and visit, or I need you to go look at homes virtually for me.
Yes, virtual showings.
Even with you not present, we are required now to get some sort of a representation agreement or a showing agreement put into place.
Yep.
That can be for one property, it can be for several, or it can be an exclusive where you're agreeing to only work with us.
Yes.
But that agreement lays out how much you're on the hook for commission for, or a fee.
An agreement to pay your buyer's broker.
Yes.
It also lays out the term. How long does it last for? Or is it, as you said, a showing agreement for specific properties or developments, if it's a new development,
right?
A builder development. We have to do them for builder developments. This is not related to commercial. Commercial is different, but it is rentals. So it also applies to rentals.
It's only applying to rentals because it's residential,
Yes.
right? So
yes.
yes.
Yeah, residential rentals, not commercial rentals. But
Right.
if you're just thinking, well, I can just go I'm looking at rentals. Why do I need to sign an agreement? You do.
Yes, you do.
You do.
And we have to have a specific number of compensation in there. It can be a specific dollar amount or it can be a specific percentage. It
Yes.
can't be like up to this number. It has to be specific, like this is the number X, X percent or X
And
dollars.
it's negotiable. Commissions are negotiable. Commissions always have been negotiable.
Always.
You
Have
don't
you ever
have to
taken
use-
a listing
No.
where the seller has not said, is this negotiable?
Right.
Can we talk about this?
Right.
And, I am always discussing.
Sometimes people are like, okay, what's your fee? And I'm
they
happy
agree
to
to
pay
the
that
fee.
fee.
That's our fee.
Yeah, that's our fee for service.
Yeah.
But people negotiate that. They've always negotiated that. And I am of the mindset that buyers have always, in effect, paid
it.
their own realtor through the purchase price of the home. The purchase price, the price of the home included representation for
both
the buyer.
sides. Mm-hmm.
And that's why when people said, well, I don't have an agent, I'm coming in, I'm going straight to a listing agent, or I'm dealing directly for sale by owner, I expect a lower price than the comparable sales. Why? Because it didn't include compensation to the buyer's agent,
Correct.
the buyer's representative. So
Yes.
when we pull that out, what happens to the price of the home? In my opinion,
It goes down.
it goes down. If you don't pay that, then the price should go down to not have to pay that, and you can't finance it
No, you cannot finance it.
if
Now,
it's not in the price of the home. That they're
you
talking
can't-
about changing.
Look, all of the banks, the big banks, the lenders are all trying to figure this out with
Yeah.
us because it's new and everybody's making adjustments. So some things that I have heard and read is that it's not going to be calculated towards your IPC, so your contributions that you're allowed to get from a seller, on particular loans, whether that's a 3% contribution or 4% or whatever. So it's not going to be part of that for your closing cost concessions necessarily. But you also can't roll in your $10,000 commission to your buyer agent into your loan yet.
No.
Maybe that will come at some point. I don't know. Nobody
Right now,
knows.
so as a buyer, right now, if you have to sign an agreement. So let's use $10,000. So you sign an agreement with your buyer's representative, your buyer agent, to a $10,000 fee. If the seller will not pay it, you have to pay it out of pocket, and you cannot roll that into your loan.
So it's just an additional closing cost at that point.
It's an additional closing
It's
cost.
like paying for your lender's title insurance, your homeowner's policy, your proration of taxes. It's just lumped onto another fee. It'll be a line item on your statement. So either the seller is going to get debited for it or you're going to get debited for it. But one
Correct.
of you is. And it may be a combination. Maybe the seller is offering X amount.
The
but that
seller
doesn't
can
cover,
still offer.
Yes.
That's another point to
Yes,
be aware
a lot
of.
of people said, "Oh, you're not allowed to anymore. It's the law." No, that's first of all, this is not a law. Secondly, they are allowed to. We just can't advertise it in the MLS. I feel like this totally
We can
takes
advertise it
away-
everywhere. We can put it on a sign, on a flyer, on our website. I can wear it on my shirt as long as my shirt's not in the MLS.
Right.
In a picture. I mean,
Yes.
literally, I could show the house with that on my shirt or a flyer or on the sign that goes in the front yard.
Yes.
Not that we'll be doing that, but you can put it everywhere else.
Isn't it?
Are we
interesting?
confused by this?
Yes.
Yes.
That makes no sense.
We
to
don't
me.
understand it. We pulled it out. It was the purpose of the settlement, I believe, was to make things more transparent.
And I feel like now the concern is that there was steering happening with, oh, well, that one's only offering X percent, and I don't want to show my buyer that because I'm not going to make enough money, which I've never done that.
Never.
I mean,
Never.
that's ridiculous. There may be people that do. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Yeah,
But
I've never done
now,
that.
here's the thing. You're not going to know what that is. We're going to have to make a phone call, and then hopefully they answer the phone or respond to a text message
Yes.
or an email and smoke signals or whatever we
Yes.
have to do to get a hold of them to find out what that number is. So now you're going to know that you're on the hook for X percent, and they're offering maybe a third of that, right? And I'm going to tell you, well, this one's only offering X or nothing, perhaps. You've
And
got to
you
pay
as
me
the
this.
buyer,
Do you want to go see that home?
you as the buyer may say no because you don't want to bring extra cash to closing. You want the seller to still pay so that you can finance it in. If
Well,
you're paying cash, it doesn't matter.
My advice is, if you're a buyer,
Yes.
go see all of them. You're going to
Yes.
negotiate that in your offer.
We say go see all the houses, put it in the offer that the seller will offer concession to you.
To help you pay for that.
To pay for
It's
that.
no different than
whether
helping
the
to
seller's
pay you
offering it
other
up
closing
front
costs,
or they're
right.
not paying up front. You can ask for that.
Yes,
if
you
they
can
say
always
no,
ask.
it's part of your negotiation.
Absolutely.
So
I
it just
agree.
is an additional negotiation that's happening. This is not a discussion, by the way, of whether you feel realtors are worth it or not. Nobody's forced to use a realtor. Nobody's ever been forced to use a realtor. You don't have to use a realtor to sell your house. You don't have to use a realtor to buy a house.
Correct.
However,
You do have to have somebody do paperwork, so you're paying an attorney,
yes,
which is fine if you would like to do that.
Yes.
By the way, they charge a retainer.
yes,
Every attorney I've ever met or worked with
Yeah.
has always charged a retainer. And that's another thing that these agreements,
offer the right for retainers and
Yes.
cancellation fees. And
Yes.
there's, you need to carefully review the agreement. You need to understand it. I have like a call set up for early next week with a buyer I've been working with, who's so can't meet in person.
Right.
So we might do a Zoom, but who's out of state, just to discuss, like, I sent an email with a very detailed, it's confusing.
it is confusing.
It's confusing. You as a buyer, if you've bought properties before, sold, you've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
you
like,
don't understand.
Why don't how come we can't do it the same old way? I just
Yeah.
had an email because, again, buyer's not here that I've worked with previously, and earlier this year showed them properties, took them around. They didn't have to sign anything.
Yeah.
We even made offers, got under contract a couple times. So now it's all new. He's like, hey, we're going to be back in town maybe around September, October. There's this house that I would like for you to go video for us like you've done before.
Yeah.
Well, I put it into practice and I explained to him the changes. I sent him the agreement to review.
Yeah.
Like, this is my fee. This is what you'll be responsible for if the seller is not offering it, whatever.
Right.
If you have any questions, let me know. And this is all brought on because, I sent him this whole sheet that
Yes.
we have. And he was like, okay, cool. And you know what? He signed it. He didn't have any questions for now. Maybe he'll have some later. But it's just something that we're going to have to get into practice to doing. But I did not. And I could technically today go out and do that video without having that because it's not our rule yet.
Until the 15th.
But you know what?
16th.
I feel like we all have to get on board with putting
We
it
have
into
a
practice
week.
now.
We have a
it's
week.
a week. Yeah.
We have to start doing it now. And
Yeah.
and it's if you did the video now and you wanted to see another one in 10 days, you would be
It's
doing
the same.
it then.
And then it's like, well, why did you do it last week and now you can't?
Yeah.
So I don't like that it takes a transparency
Yeah.
of the like what the payment is going to be. It takes it completely out of the hands of the consumer.
Yes.
And now they're relying on us to find out what that is.
Right.
They can't just look at it.
And one of the problems that I struggle with personally, because you and I are both very analytical people, so we're looking at the comps, we're doing a market analysis before we make an offer for a buyer.
Yes.
Or even if you're working with a
We're
seller,
not going to know.
we don't know, because we used to be able to look in the MLS and we could see, okay, that included this
is
person
for
was paying
appraisers,
low.
too. They're already asking about that.
Yes. So then you're saying, well, did that include buyer, broker compensation? How do I adjust this number? Do I assume it included it? So then what do you have to do? You'd have to call every agent, reach out to every agent and say, did the listing agent or the buyer's agent, and say, did that price include this, and make adjustments? So to me, it's less transparent. I don't
for
know
sure.
if
Yeah.
the number included it. I'm going to generally assume the number included it.
Yeah.
And then we have to assume, what was it?
Yeah,
was
how
it a
much?
flat number? Was it a percentage? How much was it?
Yeah, we're already seeing listings in our MLS with zero because it is allowed. You can offer nothing. And it's always negotiable. Just remember, just because it says zero doesn't mean that the seller's not 100% not going to pay
They
anything.
just are saying, and I think one of the large brokerages has come out and said, we're, as a practice, our entire brokerage, we're not going to offer that. We're
From
not going
our
to
brokerage.
from our brokerage.
Yeah.
We're not going to offer that. If a buyer's agent or the buyer wants it, they can put it in the request. They can request it. They can put it in an offer for the buyer that the buyer is
and then the
provided this
seller
concession.
will be the one that's dealing with
So
that.
they're basically saying you negotiate with the seller on that.
Yes.
It's another negotiation point.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, pretty much the same kind of thing for sellers. Like our listing agreements have always had in Florida, it has like a number, you know, a whole number that is the total that's being paid. And then we're transparent in those listing agreements. It says of that number, this brokerage is going to offer this much to a buyer's agent. We're just letting you know that's how much we're paying. And those both were always optional. I mean, we have our fees that we like to work for.
Yeah.
Have I negotiated those? Yes.
Yes.
And sometimes in the middle of a transaction, we have to further adjust those in directions downward to make deals work. I'm in the middle of one of those right now where it's like, I got to get this deal to work for these people so that they can move on, sell their home, get into their next home that, by the way, I have nothing to do with. So it's not like it's benefiting me in any way financially to do that. But I feel like you and I both work for our clients. We want the best for them. I'm not going to like hold them up because I'm like, well, I'm going to make more money if I stick to my guns on this number.
It's a very short-sighted thing, and I know people feel this way about realtors, but if you're I've been selling real estate now 16 years, and if you are selling real estate long-term, and this is your career, your best business is repeat and referral business. Repeat and referral clients. How does that happen? Because you treat people right. You treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
You're fair in your negotiations. You're honest. You're ethical.
And you're
all
always
these
looking
things.
out for their best interest. You're not just going to shove them into a house so that you can make a sale.
No,
knowing
never.
that home is maybe not a good fit or has big issues.
Because you want them to love it 5 years down the road, when in 5 years they're going to tell their neighbor, their friend, their relative, this person's the best realtor. This is what they did for me, and I love my home still. They didn't just sell me this piece of junk.
The money pit.
Just to get me in. And I think, that's a whole nother discussion, but we aren't. You don't have to use a realtor. I think that's just so important. Yes. If you don't believe in this and you don't believe in the value of a realtor, no one is forcing you to use one.
This is very
It's
true.
not a requirement.
With all of the data share that's out there, you have so much information. You have Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, and every realtor has like a website. Every brokerage has a website for the most part. So the information is out there, You can't, if it's represented by a realtor, you can call that realtor and say, I don't want any representation. I just want you to write the offer. You're allowed to do that. Or you can say, hey,
but if
Mr.
you
Attorney,
ask that realtor to write an offer, guess what? Now they have to sign an agreement with you.
They have to sign something. It can be a non-representation agreement, like I'm just drawing the paperwork, but something that defines your relationship and what the fee for that is. Because just because there's no representation doesn't mean there's not a fee.
Because they're still doing the paperwork for you.
Yes.
They're still doing the work for you.
I'm sure that there are probably people out there that are licensed that will do it for free.
I can't imagine.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
It's
wouldn't
just like
go-
asking your hairdresser, can you cut my hair for free?
Right.
Or asking your doctor, can you treat me for free?
Yeah.
I mean, we are a profession.
Yeah.
This is what pays our bills. So,
Yeah.
we can't just be out there working for free.
It would be a little dumb. Hopefully we're not that dumb. If we're that dumb, you definitely don't want to hire us.
Don't hire us. Yeah. You get what you pay for also. I will say that.
Yes.
You do get what you pay for.
Yes. And I mean, look for someone who's experienced. I think what's going to happen as a result of all this too in our profession is going to become more professional, more respected. And people starting in the business are going to have to have some mentorship, have some training.
Definitely.
Come in under.
You might be seeing a little bit of an exit strategy from some agents who maybe just aren't in it, They're not in it for the long haul. I think this is going to be a little bit of overwhelm for some.
Yes.
And it's just not going to be
It's
conducive.
a lot of information, and it's in flux right now because making sure that all our forms and our documents and everything and what is the exact requirement of the settlement, we don't figure that out. That is above our pay grade. That is the responsibility of our brokerage. We're so thrilled to be with Compass. We love Compass, and Compass has been amazing in training us and in providing all the information that we need. And also our state and local boards also provide us that information. So we're getting a lot of training.
Yes.
From everybody.
So much training. I don't know that I've attended so many in-person and Zoom trainings. And I've been a realtor for 7 years.
Yeah.
It's more than I did to get licensed or to renew a license or
Absolutely.
even for my broker license. Like, it's definitely more than I've obtained for any of that. And it's all centered around this stuff and being compliant with the settlement.
Yes. So anyway, we think ultimately we'll all adjust.
Yes.
And if you have questions on it, we're happy to
Of
talk.
course. Yeah, absolutely.
Zoom, email, text, whatever.
Stop by our office even.
Stop by our office. Come see us. We like to see people in person. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it for today.
Okay.
All right,
See you next time.
cheers.
Cheers.
Weather forecast today.
Today's forecast